This is 4th and Goal on Break the Cast.
Smoother than an Antonio Brown touchdown celebration and sweeter than a Tim Tebow home run swing. I'm Jeff Blagden.
I'm Andrew Proto-Reese.
Christian Woody Smitty News.
And this is 4th and Goal. I like that we kicked off last show by making sure everybody knew damn well that Julian Edelman used to play quarterback. Do we predict the future again or what?
And now it's a possibility.
Great possibility, actually.
I want to see that badly. I want to see Julian Edelman start at quarterback.
I mean, J.J. Watt could kill that guy and we could get him in there. Honestly, though.
It's not wrong.
It's not far off, to be honest.
I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo out 6 weeks. Are the Patriots in trouble at all for these 2 weeks?
No, because they won 2 of the 4 games Brady's out. I think they're good.
Plus, and he's back in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean...
Plus, you got Edelman. If you got Edelman to play quarterback, you're fine.
I honestly think he would win a game.
They need to go out and sign the Haas.
Bring him back.
Wow. That would be crazy. Yeah. Pull him out of retirement?
Yeah. I think he'd do it. He's only been down 1 year.
I've seen a report, obviously.
Not even a year.
Obviously, it was fake, but they were saying that Peyton Manning to the Patriots.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw them like photoshopping the Patriots jersey on Peyton Manning.
Hey, Peyton, you want one more try? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Peyton is Brady's backup. Imagine that.
Oh, that'd be gross.
I mean, never would have seen it coming. Leave it. No. I mean, if there's one thing Belichick's good at, it's doing things that we never thought would happen. Mm-hmm. So,
absolutely.
I mean, he is a genius after all. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. The other, obviously, big injury news aside from the Patriots quarterback situation with Jacoby Brissett starting, we've got AP. Best running back in the NFL over the past decade. Done. Probably multiple months.
Yeah, several months, which means... he's out for the season unless they make the playoffs, essentially.
Then again, this is AP. He came back from an ACL injury in 6 months. So you never know with him what we could see.
Yeah, so they're obviously saying depending on the surgery will depend. They're saying it could be December, it could be sooner. Well, basically, we have to wait and see after the surgery to see what happens.
I don't think this hurts them as much as people think, though. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing the last 2 weeks, and they've won.
They also signed Ronnie Hillman this morning. Zimmer, interestingly enough, not putting AP on the IR, though.
Which is weird, I find. And sucks for fantasy owners if you own AP in your league. That means you got to hold him and wait and hope he comes back or drop him and watch someone else pick him up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what Zimmer's doing. Holding on and hoping he ends up coming back. I mean, it should probably, at least with him out, free up their passing game a little bit. McKinnon is obviously going to have more room to run than, or Asiata, whoever they decide to start, is obviously going to have more room with less people in the box than AP did. So, I mean, this could be a blessing in disguise early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, they look great against the Packers. That defense is something else. They're ranked top 5?
I believe top 5 right now, yeah.
And they played Green Bay one of those games, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. If you really think about that.
No, yeah, they were able to shut them down. And they've done it both games. Like, they gave up points early in week 1, but then that defense really stood tall, and obviously the offense helped.
I mean, they've given 30 points for the season.
Yeah.
16 to Tennessee, 14 to Green Bay. I mean, that's
and
crazy.
Like you said, one of them being Green Bay and only giving up those 14 is huge.
And being a divisional where Green Bay knows how they look.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean? Honestly, the Vikings pick for my fantasy team is one of my low-key picks of the year at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we knew they were going to win games this season with that defense, regardless of whether AP was there or not. I mean, we know offensively they're a run-first team, especially with Sam Bradford at quarterback now. But, and speaking of which, though, Bradford looked pretty dang good this week.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, contributing to that was Stephon Diggs having a ridiculous game, playing out of his mind. But, nonetheless, Bradford doing what he needs to do to win games with this Vikings team, especially with that defense.
Yeah, no, I really, really, really like that defense right now. I got 2 of the players on my fantasy team plus the defensive team. Because, we play fantasy out here with linebackers, linemen, and defensive backs. But no, I got...
Yeah, man, I wish I could get people to be down for a league like that.
It's
crazy.
I would
destroy it every year.
It's crazy. No, it definitely adds a whole different flavor to it.
It's my first time in it, and it's eye-opening. It's pretty crazy when you have to kind of learn more and then obviously, do the research on the defensive guys. It's pretty nuts.
Well, let's talk about Diggs. 9 receptions, 182 yards, 1 TD, a 20.2 average.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And 22 years old.
which is
Young
ridiculous.
man, yeah.
He's younger than every person sitting at this table right now.
Not me.
Unfortunately. Shut
He's
up,
not,
Proto.
Really?
I'm 21.
Okay, fair. It shows. But no, on a serious note, he's been absolutely lighting it up. I picked him as a nice standout in fantasy. I didn't think it would be this much of a standout already. What would you say you got him the 15th round?
14th or 15th round in my
which
league.
is ridiculous for a guy putting up receiver 1 numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he went around 10 in my league, but I mean, we
Yeah.
knew he would be
Even
their
10 though.
We knew he would be their number 1 receiver, so I don't understand a drop to 15.
That's what I mean, especially in such a high passing league where we've seen fantasy leagues, Antonio Brown going number 1 overall in about 95% of leagues, pretty much it seemed. Or if it wasn't Antonio Brown, it was a different receiver.
Yeah.
Or
see him-
Gurley for some reason, who again has been terrible. 2.94 yards per carry average.
I'm not going to lie, Gurley's on my team, but it's a good thing I drafted the rest of the team very well.
I never understood the massive hype around Gurley this year. He played 1 good year as a rookie, and everyone was like, he's going to be the number 1 fantasy producer this year.
No.
Yeah, and we know how sophomore seasons go. I was hoping it would be a little bit different, but I was at the 5 spot.
It's like Trent Richardson 2.0.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, let's not have it be that.
Because I'm in a keeper league, and I kind of plan to keep Gurley. I was expecting maybe a not as good year this year, but he'd come back next year, the year after.
He's got one thing going for him over Trent Richardson. He's not playing for the Browns.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Now in
That's an
this
advantage for anybody.
in this game, the Packers-Vikings game, there is somebody on Green Bay who I seem to always talk about quite a bit, and that's Eddie Lacy. Now,
You were going to say Aaron Rodgers.
well, and we all talk about Aaron Rodgers quite a bit. But Eddie Lacy, do we contribute this to the Vikings defense being that good, or is this Eddie Lacy slowly losing it?
Can it be both?
Yeah, I guess.
I think a bit of both in the fact they were down most of the game.
that's true.
You know what mode Rodgers gets in when they're down
Yep.
the whole game, right? Pass, pass.
That's Yeah, 36 attempts.
But yeah, he hasn't impressed me at all this year. Even with the cut weight, didn't make a difference.
No.
I'd rather him be an extra 30 pounds, maybe bouldering through these guys.
And he was another guy was the rookie season absolutely killing it. Now years 2, 3, nothing. Like
People were
it's not
counting on
showing
him to be
anything.
the next Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, absolutely. And he had the look like to do it, like even his playing style and everything. And obviously, it's not even close to Marshawn Lynch.
The only thing I disagree with about your original statement is slowly.
It's
'Cause
a rapid decline.
It happened fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and what you said though, season 2 he was all right. Rookie year, sophomore year he was good. Then it just went all downhill. There was the whole weight thing, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with as much flack as he got for that, since he was a power running back. Like it's not like he ever relied on being the fastest guy on the field or anything. So it wasn't hurting him that much. He could still make his cuts. He could still plow through people. He could still stiff arm and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe the loss of weight has been detrimental to that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, I never really even thought about
Kind
that.
of lost the power, yeah.
If you get used to playing at that weight and then you come back and you try to do the same things you did before, it's like if Shaq all of a sudden lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, obviously different player. Like
No, yeah, that's a great point,
yeah.
to be honest. I never really thought about that. I mean, Lacy was never fast, so maybe that weight actually, at the end of the day, did help him a lot. I mean, goal line stances, they give it to Starks now.
yeah, it's
And
true.
even last year.
Well, last year I always said understandable, like he would do nothing in the game. So it was kind of that opportunity grab for
But you got a guy
Starks.
that's 250, you're
Of
1
course.
yard away from the touchdown.
But
You're not
that, and
going to
then
hand
that
the
shows
ball
you
off
that
to
there's
this
no
guy.
trust. Yeah, exactly. It shows you that there's no trust there anymore in Eddie Lacy.
Well, let's talk about Minnesota. 2-0, first in the division. Obviously, it's extremely early, but with Bridgewater going out, either of you expect them to be 2-0 right now? Especially with AP playing at the level he was playing at?
No, absolutely not. Me and Jeff both picked the Packers last week.
I picked Minnesota, and crazy, our first episode. I picked Minnesota. I would have picked Minnesota to win the division if the QB didn't go out.
I remember, yeah.
I
and
really
you
wish
said
I
that.
still stuck with Minnesota, to be honest, because that defense is too much.
And we were talking about this before the podcast, going back to Sam Bradford. He is not a bad quarterback. He he's obviously not an
He's
elite
not a good
level.
quarterback.
Yeah, but he is good enough that he could get some jobs done. Right now in Minnesota, he is getting the job done.
He's
in the first
mediocre,
2
where if you have a
in his first
defense,
game.
you're going to win games.
Yeah.
You know what he's really good at? Being a Ryan Reynolds lookalike.
Wow.
But He can't throw.
I mean,
deep.
that's not a bad thing.
He can't throw deep. Has always been his concern.
Yeah.
Throughout his career, and he still can't throw deep.
But do you think that fits for the Viking system? I mean, who do they have on the team that's really a deep threat?
The problem with it is that now those short passes are going to be able to be covered a lot easier because you're not going to be stacking 8 or 9 in the box to protect for Adrian Peterson anymore, right? So you're going to have those people on the outside. They're now going to get double coverage, man-to-man coverage, safety help, linebackers coming over to protect from the crossing routes. So it may be a lot more difficult for him to get stuff done against this team now.
Yeah.
That being said, that wouldn't be any different against Bridgewater. Bridgewater doesn't throw deep either. Although Bridgewater can, he just chooses not to. Whereas Bradford, I don't think can throw deep.
Yeah, and the thing with this is obviously now they're going to really need something out of at least one of the 3 running backs, being Asiata, Hillman, and McKinnon.
Well, we'll see what they're really made of this week. I mean, they got Carolina coming up.
That's going to be a big game.
So we'll see how that defense handles that offense.
Yep.
I mean, Kelvin Benjamin been looking fantastic, to be honest.
Since
Doesn't even
coming
look
back,
like he missed a year.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
Another obviously significant running back injury coming this week, the Lions, losing Abdullah, probably 8 weeks, they're saying. You think they regret letting Joik Bell go now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
They're going to have, Theo Riddick starting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theo Riddick.
Theo
Yeah,
Riddick is a
Riddick will be the
receiver
Yeah.
that is too small to be a receiver. So he plays running back. And he's going to be your primary ball carrier.
Yeah, Theo Riddick's going to have to be their guy. Also, another running back injury, Doug Martin out at least 3 weeks with the hamstring injury.
Yeah, but Tampa sucks anyway.
Wow.
And Woodhead out for the season.
Yeah, Danny Woodhead gone. So a lot of running back blows within a week.
All these injuries are helping my fantasy team, though.
Not mine.
I got Melvin Gordon,
Mine
so
are
I'm
the
good.
exact opposite.
Yeah, you have both of them, don't you?
I had AP, Keenan Allen, Doug Martin, all gone.
Trash.
Yeah. All gone within 1 week.
That's fantasy for you,
yeah,
though.
exactly.
That was me, though, too. Yesterday, I had all 3 of my starting running backs hurt, or all 3 of my best running backs, I should say, hurt. Today, not so much of a problem anymore. So that's the way fantasy rolls. Proto, you just suck.
Guy in Jeff's league who gave him Matt Forte for Adrian Peterson. If you're listening to this, what are you gathering? Like, do you not listen? Do you not do
Man,
research?
I had to give
What
him
is wrong with
Tannehill,
this?
too.
Oh, wow, Ryan Tannehill. Like, here, take this quarterback that you could get a better one free agency. Like,
I don't know about that.
yeah, you can.
Come on, Proto. The guy's put up like 500 and something yards this season.
All right, on another sad note.
Who are you going to pick up, Brissett?
Yeah, do
Put-
it.
put Edelman at
play him one
quarterback
game.
in your
Put
league?
Edelman, yeah. On to other sad news. Let's
Bills
go to the
suck?
Thursday night game. Absolutely. Ay. Like, Fitzpatrick tore us a new one. There's no doubt about that.
374 yards.
Yeah. Matt Forte also tore us a new one. He was a machine. Like, Bills had absolutely zero answer for Forte. Obviously, no answer to Fitzpatrick. They had 2 receivers hit over 100 yards in Marshall and Decker, and I think the third stringer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Quincy Anayua.
And Anayua, he had 90-something. He was just short of 10. He left the game injured in the 4th, and they ended up just sitting him. So he would have hit 100 without question if he played.
You know what I need to say about this game?
Yep.
31 points from your teams. Who will take that on a daily basis? If I told you you're going to score 31 points going into this game, you're going to say, yeah, perfect. I'll take that, right? They gave up 37, and they fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to get to next was the commentators, even during the game, had said that. They go, in week 1, if we told you were going to keep the Ravens to 13, and in week 2, you were going to score 31 against the Jets, and you were going to lose both, you wouldn't believe that. Like, and it's true. I don't believe it. It's unreal. And firing Greg Roman, I'm not a big fan of, but you have to see it as strategy by Rex Ryan. If Rex Ryan were to go
Rex
during
Ryan
the
doesn't
season,
know what the word strategy means.
true, but it's a ploy because you got to think of this. If Rex Ryan was fired during the season, who would probably take over him for the rest of the season? Would be Greg
Hopefully
Roman.
not Rob.
No, it would be Greg Roman. I'm going to get to Rob Ryan in a sec.
Could you imagine Rob Ryan as a head coach in the
I'm going to get
NFL?
to Rob Ryan in 1 sec. It would be Greg Roman. So now that Greg Roman's gone, they don't have somebody to take his job. Obviously, they're not going to put that trust in
Look,
Rob
if they're
Ryan.
going to fire Rex Ryan mid-season, they can just go back and hire Greg Roman again.
Now, and then
What
on
about promoting the girl on the staff?
special teams coach to head coach? No,
Hey,
thanks.
man, it's happened.
Anyway.
What was it last year with Tampa? Special team coach went to head coach.
Now, and then I was okay with the firing after they had said that they met with key offensive players who agreed that this was the change. And they met with Terry Pagula and Kim Pagula, the owners, and the offensive players said they wanted to change on offense.
Who were these key offensive players
They did not
spoke to, though?
They did not.
I'm being serious. Who are the key offensive players
so
they spoke to?
They did not name them, but
because besides Tyrod Taylor, I can't give you a key offensive player.
Sammy Watkins, LaShawn McCoy. No, I'm saying this is what my guess would be.
That makes sense.
And probably I would guess Eric Wood, their center, their captain, who's been there for quite a long time. I would assume those four were in those conversations.
So do you think they wanted him out because they don't agree with the system, or they agreed because they're like, we suck right now. Let's see if we switch it up, it'll be okay.
I would say both, in all honesty, because I think Greg Roman's offense, it did look good against the Jets. They exposed the Jets, but the game with Baltimore,
lost.
Exactly, and that's what it came down to.
You're coming up with excuses for why the firing occurred, and that, let's be real, this comes down to one thing and one thing only. When your team underperforms, you got to get rid of someone, and it's usually going to be someone on the coaching staff. They just signed Rob Ryan this year, so they can't let him go.
And I absolutely agree with that, and I know that's what it's going to come down to. Now, this is what pissed me off this week was, I believe it was on Sunday night before the last games, Rex Ryan did a press conference talking about their practices, and he says, Rob Ryan is as good a coach as anybody in the NFL.
Who said this?
Rex Ryan.
Christian,
and that's
Cowboys
when I
fan.
just gave up.
What do you feel about that?
Absolute trash. He's garbage.
He is garbage, and that's what I'm saying.
Let me put it to you this way. We got rid of Rob Ryan before we got rid of Garrett.
Let me ask you.
Enough said. Yeah. I mean.
Let me ask you something,
and I read this, because I wasn't listening live. I read it after, and I just kind of put my phone down and walked away. And I was like, I can't deal with this today.
Proto, let me ask you something.
Absolutely.
If you could have a choice between Rex Ryan at head coach and Greg Roman as offensive coordinator, or Greg Roman as head coach and Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator, what would you take?
The last one.
Yeah, Greg Roman as head coach and Rex Ryan as
defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Same.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. I would take that.
Yeah. Rex is good at defense. Don't get me wrong.
Rex
but he is a
very
trash head coach.
Yeah,
he's trash.
Rex's defenses are good, and Greg Roman is not a bad offensive coordinator. And I said this last season. When San Francisco was at their best a couple years ago, that was Greg Roman's offense. That was when he had Kaepernick firing on all cylinders and he had everybody going. Second he left, I know they lost some key pieces. That offense started going down. Kaepernick, we also saw the real side of Colin Kaepernick. Bills with Tyrod had a good offense with Greg Roman, but it's starting to get stale. And obviously, like you had said, Jeff, somebody had to go, and of course it was going to be Greg Roman.
Did they really have a good offense with Greg Roman with Tyrod? I mean,
they didn't.
Tyrod played, 9 games last year because he got hurt too? Maybe
I think
10 games?
12.
Okay.
12, yeah.
And out of those 12 games, how many of those games were you 100% comfortable with the offense?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it was never perfect, and there was games that it looked stale. And these first 2 games, obviously, like I said, they had an okay game with the Jets offensively, but it was just moments that they looked stale. And that's why the change came. Obviously, they weren't going to fire Rob.
But you got to think, too, how much of that is just the talent on the team.
And I'm not disagreeing with that either. We only have one wide receiver.
That's what I'm saying. You guys have one receiver that should actually be an NFL receiver. You have no tight ends that are capable. Your offensive line is bad.
Yeah,
LaShawn McCoy hasn't looked good since he left Philly.
No.
And Tyrod, let's be real, Tyrod Taylor is a 3rd or 4th tier quarterback in the NFL.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with most of that. Absolutely. I have no complaints.
What do you disagree with that statement? I mean,
I like Tyrod. I'm a big fan of Tyrod.
You're putting
I'm not saying
you're putting him above 3rd tier QBs though. Stop this.
No, I'm not going to put him ahead of 3rd
He's definitely not Brady, Breeze.
Okay, obviously
Rodgers.
not.
Okay, but the 2nd tier's Roethlisberger, Romo, Phillip Rivers.
Palmer.
He's not in that tier at
that's
all.
Fair. That's
fair. Stop this.
No, that's absolutely fair.
He's 3rd, maybe 4th. And that's being generous, giving him 3rd, to be honest.
That's fair.
Because I could probably pick some Bortles. I'll take Bortles over Tyrod.
Palmer.
I would take Wentz over Tyrod at this point.
I'd need to see a little more from Wentz.
Fair, but he's been looking pretty damn good.
Honestly, Tyrod's in the same category as Cutler.
That's...
Get out of here.
If Cutler had Sammy Watkins...
He has Alshon Jeffrey still.
Yeah, but Alshon Jeffrey's not the deep threat that Sammy Watkins is.
And
Cutler, and the whole thing with Cutler is he has a rocket for an arm. He just can't do anything else.
And they don't have a running back. I mean, at least Buffalo's got some sort of a running game. Langford, 1 year.
Okay, yeah.
He played 7-8 games starting last year and was good. I knew he wouldn't be who he was last year this year. You see his first fumble of his career? No one even touched it. He dropped the ball.
Yeah.
He just dropped the ball.
That's like Elliott last week, though. And that one that just came out of nowhere. I was like, how did that even come out? Like,
Cowboys won, though.
he straight up dropped it. Like,
Cowboys won. That's all that matters.
Before we move on to the next...
We're talking way too much about the Buffalo Bills.
Well, that's
Can
what
we
I want to say. Before we get into the next game, I have a question for you guys. Does Rex Roman, oh my lord.
No.
Last the whole season?
No.
No, Jeff?
Week 8, done.
I think he lasts the whole season, but only because of his contract. I don't think he'll deserve to last the whole season.
Absolutely.
But it's just
Fair.
not financially...
That's exactly the same thing I said too.
I'm still saying week 8. I think they're 2-6 at that point, and he's gone.
Yep. Okay.
They're behind Miami in the division at that point.
Chiefs-Texans. Texans 19, Chiefs 12. Osweiler looking pretty good this week.
He is. I like the Texans team. I know I didn't pick them to win the division. I think
Yeah, I have them in the AFC Championship, so.
I got them going in right now. They're looking pretty nice. And J.J. Watt still hasn't had a crazy game.
But he always starts slow.
When he comes on full cylinders, what then?
Nobody can stop him. He's the most impossible force in the NFL to stop. Him and Gronk are right up there as the two most unstoppable people in the NFL.
But let's talk about the Texans for a minute. Osweiler new, 19 for 33, 268, a touchdown. Lamar Miller new, 25 carries, 83 yards, 3.3 average.
Will Fuller.
Rookie, but new. 4 receptions, 104 yards, 26 average. Let's talk about how much they upgraded this team for a minute.
Oh,
they did very well. They're right up there with Jacksonville in my eyes.
And I think they're over them right now because they're 2-0. Be it Jacksonville was in some nice. No, this week they were in a trash game, but the week before they played it neck to neck with the Packers. But I mean, the Packers just lost to Minnesota with Sam Bradford starting and no AP. So who really knows about how good the Packers are yet right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jacksonville's also dealing with injuries, and I think they're just one of those teams that is going to be a team of parity with how young they are for a little while. But if they can keep their core together and keep making off-season moves like they did last year, they'll be a tremendous team. Whereas Houston is kind of where they are, and I don't think they're going to really get better or worse. I think they'll hover around this for a few seasons, and I think it's the area where they might make it to some AFC Championship games, but they're not going to be good enough to break through. But yeah, the great offseason moves to get to that point. I want to see what they can do to break that ceiling and get one step higher.
So what do you guys think about the Chiefs, though? I mean, they were down huge to San Diego. Crazy comeback. Ended up winning that game. And they never really got it going against the Texans. Do you think they are who they were the first half of that San Diego game? Or do you think they are who they were that second half and overtime of that San Diego game?
I think, obviously, it's a little bit of a mix of both. I mean, I think we're going to see this all year round. They start slow going into games, and that's just what you're going to do when you're a team that's a run-first team with Alex Smith as your quarterback and Andy Reid as your coach, right? The problem is going to be if you start slow like that and you start conservative like that and you get out of the game, how are you going to get back in it?
Do we see Jamal Charles week 3?
Honestly, I was just about to ask that question, but I'm reading the stats. West, 6 carries, 61 yards, 10.2 average. Ware, 10 carries, 57 yards, 5.7 average. With those averages, why even rush him right now?
Exactly.
I mean, he's a great receiving weapon. Yeah. But I mean,
but
why even risk it?
So is Ware.
And so is Ware, exactly.
Exactly, and I was going to say that.
And Davis, too. Yeah. They've still got Davis kicking around.
Now
he can receive. So.
Yeah, no, I think, you keep Charles till you absolutely need him or he's 100% healthy.
And I said it last week, too, that Andy Reid is probably right after Bill Belichick in terms of systems that work in the NFL rather than players. And I think he has the running backs around him that can make that work until they absolutely have to bring Jamal Charles back.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Moving on, we got the Dolphins and the Patriots. The Patriots eking this one out after building a huge lead in the first half behind Jimmy Garoppolo, who's looked tremendous. Yep. Unfortunately, going down with an injury. Jacoby Brissett had to come in. Managed to hold the lead, but it got tight.
Yeah, it looked like the Patriots, lack of a pun here, almost got deflated as the game went I did not do that purposely. It came to my head and I was like, oh.
Proto, get out.
I was like, oh boy,
We're done talking about
That's one of the most clever things you've ever said on the show, though, to be honest. You should have just taken full credit.
They did look deflated, though, in the
He
second
should
half.
have just retired after that and walked out.
Dropped this mic.
Like, I'm done.
But Garpolo, before he got hurt, that was something. 232 yards, 3
TDs.
touchdowns. And that was not even at halftime. That's ridiculous. That's nuts. And Miami just they had that comeback at the end, but that whole first half was just so bad. It was Miami.
Do either of you know when Garoppolo's a free agent?
I hope
Next
soon.
year.
Do you think he's earned
4 years, right? Because he was a second-round pick.
Yep.
So 4 years.
Do you think he's earned a job with these 2 starts?
I think they
going
trade
forward?
him. I think they trade him before
I
the trade
was
deadline
going
this
to
year.
say at the deadline, if a team needs a quarterback, why not?
Yeah, that's what the Patriots do. They trade away Brady's backups. They did it with Hoyer. They did it with what's his face.
Testaverde. Play for the Cowboys, baby.
Testaverde.
God, going way back. No, I was talking the guy last year. Played
Castle.
For Houston.
Or
Yeah, they did it with Castle though too, sending him off to the
Castle.
Chiefs.
Where was he? Houston?
the guy. Oh wow.
The guy that didn't show up to the
I
game
know
because he missed the
exactly-
flight.
I know exactly who you're talking about too.
Ah.
Wow.
I'll try to find this. Go on.
Whatever. Moving on. It's what they do. If he the way he played, if teams are thinking that he can keep that up when he's away from Belichick, they're going to go for it. They're going to get rid of him. Quarterback is just too hard to find in the NFL for teams not to try to take risks.
Now let's talk about this running game for the Dolphins.
Ryan Mallett.
What running
Ryan
game?
Mallett.
That's
okay.
it.
That's exactly my point.
What running game for the Dolphins?
Who do you start going forward? Ajayi or Foster? Who do you
Well,
even put in
Foster's
there?
injured again.
He is injured again. Wow.
He's always injured.
I mean, Tannehill was the leading rusher this week. 6 carries, 35 yards. JJ had 5 carries for 14 yards.
I think they got to go. They got to go sign someone, or they got to make a trade.
But
like
who?
There's
You think maybe they try and grab Lynch if he comes back?
Carlos Williams, if he could get his act together.
I would say Hillman, but
He's already gone.
Already gone.
I think, honestly, and this is a long shot and throwing this out there, I think Atlanta makes Freeman available at some point this year.
And
I think
roll
they can
with
go
Coleman?
For him. Yeah. It
Coleman's
seems
been
like
doing
they
well.
like Coleman more than they like Freeman because they're taking away some of Freeman's carries, and it's not like he's playing bad. They're running Coleman at receiver when they can. So I can see them trying to get rid of Freeman and, selling high on Freeman. And the Dolphins might be players in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that.
Along
that's
with
what
teams
they
like the
need.
Ravens and that, they could be in there for him too. I feel like Freeman would be a perfect fit with the Ravens.
That would be crazy.
That would be a nice
actually.
offense. Yeah.
If they get a defensive player for that deal, I agree with it all day because that's all they need. Matt Ryan's been on fire to start the year. What did I say to you?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
drafted him as my backup. I should have played him this week.
Yeah.
He had way more
Absolutely,
points
absolutely.
than Drew Brees.
He's
Like
leading-
not even close.
Leading the NFL in yards.
I know it's crazy,
Oh, yeah.
but they're 1-1,
believe so.
and they're 2 wins away from
From what I said.
around where we said that they
3
beat.
wins.
Well,
I still
I think I gave them
think
4.
I gave them more than.
gave
I
them
gave them
6.
3.
I gave them 6 or 7. Yeah.
I said 3-13. I still don't know. I still think that's right around their cap.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think they still have more than that in them.
We'll get to them after
Yeah.
though. Moving on, we got the Titans and the Lions. Murray getting the majority of the carries for the Titans this week. They're just jumping back and forth between him and Henry.
I think they're just trying to see who's going to be. I know it's hard to say who's going to be consistent when you're bouncing literally back and forth. Like Henry had 9 carries, Murray had 12. I don't know. I think it's almost like they're looking like, okay, out of the touches we give you in a game, whoever does better in said game will start the next one. It's almost like a high school thing.
But it kind of leads to what we said last year. Remember with Murray and Matthews, how that worked out with them flip-flopping?
Yeah, and it didn't.
The problem is that's great to have in the NFL, a dual running back set where you can switch back and forth between them, but you have to have the right running backs for that situation. And I don't think Murray is a guy that can be in that, like that type of a system. I think he is a workhorse back, and he needs to be the main carrier in order for him to get going. And it's the same as last year. They're not giving him enough attempts for him to be able to get going in the way that we saw him with the Cowboys.
For sure.
And I'll give it to him. He's looked way better this year than he did with Philly.
Oh,
So
yeah. The first 2 games already, he's looked much
That's what I
better than
mean.
last year.
So, I mean, I feel they should kind of roll with him the next week or two. I mean, you're going to have Henry going forward.
Do you think it helps that DeMarco Murray is, I would say, compared to Philadelphia and Dallas, obviously, is in a smaller football market? Do you think that has an effect with it as well?
Yes and no. I mean, he's in a harder division now.
Yeah, besides division, I mean, media attention, people talk about obviously the Cowboys, you could probably throw all the way up there.
I just feel the reason he was so good was solely because of that line.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the reason he was as good as he
no
was.
question.
I'm not going to go and say he's bad,
No.
but he's an average workhorse back in the NFL. But the problem, again, is that word, workhorse. And I think that's what he needs to be in order to be an effective running back.
Yeah,
in the
no,
NFL.
and it is tough. But, on 12 carries, he had 89 yards, which obviously was a good game for DeMarco Murray. They were able to pull out the win in the end, 16-15.
But on the Lions had not much of a running game at all from them this game, and now going forward without Abdullah,
No, Abdullah, yep.
it's going to be tough. They got Reddick starting at running back.
Maybe they're another team that could make a push for a trade.
Maybe even Murray.
What do you mean?
If
Trade
they want,
for DeMarco?
if they want to keep Henry in Tennessee and get rid of Murray.
Okay.
I just feel the Lions are too high on Abdullah right now.
They are very high on him. But the one thing in this
And he
game
hasn't
was,
showed me anything to be that high on him at all. Last year I had him in fantasy. He did absolutely nothing for me.
Oh, Amir Abdullah, I've never really thought
I didn't even
anything-
bother touching him this year, and now he's hurt.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So, I mean, in 2 years, he's done what for you?
8 weeks minimum, right? His injury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll be back maybe week 10, 11, depending on their bye week, which is almost a whole year lost for the guy again.
I'm just looking at the stats right now. Matt Castle had a passing attempt for -1 yards for the Titans. Look at that right now. What play did Matt Castle come in this game?
Wait, you think I watch Titans games?
No, I'm just saying I did not know that
Titans
till
and a
right
Lions
now.
game of all.
All right, Jeff, what game do we have next?
Bengals Steelers, a rematch of the most ridiculous football game I have ever seen. In
By
last
the
year's
way, I picked the
playoffs.
Steelers. Jeff and Proto picked the Bengals.
Did we?
Yeah, you guys.
I thought I picked
It was
Steelers.
regular season. I'm going to go with the Bengals all day long.
And I agree with it. I can't hate on it at all. But no, the Steelers, I'm telling you, man, I don't know. I think they're due this year. That offense just looks due. Their defense has been playing pretty stout for the first 2 games. I mean, name me a name on that Pittsburgh defense for them to be playing this decent. Exactly.
Yeah.
You were
Does
about
that
to go
answer
to your
your
computer
question?
and look it up, so that's the answer to my
I was,
question.
and I was like, Lawrence Timmons. That's all I got.
That's all I got too.
Oh, Arthur Moats. Remember him?
And this was a Roethlisberger, another game, 259, 3 TDs. D'Angelo Williams, another big game, 94 yards.
Did you guys see the tweet that D'Angelo Williams sent out? He said, "For all of you who own me in fantasy," and it was a picture of him saluting. It said, "Attaboy."
That's amazing.
32 carries for D'Angelo Williams, 94 yards.
Workhorse.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Terrible average, but I mean, if you
Hey,
can feed
they
the
were
guy
just
the ball
feeding him,
32 times, by all means.
Big one in this game was we saw again Hill do absolutely nothing again for the Bengals. Giovanni Bernard on the receiving end, 100 yards.
Big game.
Which is what we expect from
Exactly.
Bernard.
But trash running too as well from both of them.
But I mean, Hill.
The two combined
first,
had 39.
Yeah,
yards.
the first 2 games again for Hill have been awful for Cincinnati.
I mean, I don't even really know what to say about it. I mean,
There is nothing to say. It's been so bad.
I've never been really high on Jeremy Hill or Bernard. I feel they're both about even to me.
Receiving wise, I love
Bernard
Gio
over Hill. So I mean, if you're going fantasy wise, I'd maybe take Bernard over Hill.
Depends if it's a PPR league or not.
Exactly.
Yeah, if it's just a standard,
But I've never been high on either of them.
I like the combination of them. I think they suit each other well to have both of them on the team. I don't know if either of them are good enough to, support a team.
No, agreed.
And we've seen the two of them together aren't really enough to support a team. So I mean, I highly doubt one of them is good enough to support a team.
No.
Like imagine they only had
They are
Hill
both. They
as
are
opposed
both.
to not having Gennard.
They are both a number 2, but the thing, like I said, that I prefer Bernard obviously is the receiving aspect of himself. I think that's what makes him, I've always thought, better than Hill.
Ravens Browns.
Yay.
Trash.
Cleveland ran the ball pretty well.
The score at one point in this game was 20-2. And then 25-20. It ended. Like, what happened?
I'll tell you what happened. The Browns suck. That's what happened. And now losing McCown, too.
Yeah, they're done.
So do we know who's playing quarterback?
I think the Browns might have just got worse than the Chargers.
Yeah, that might be the be all end all. They signed Clipboard Jesus, so he's there. Charlie Whitehurst.
But no, Mike Wallace. Picked him up 17th round fantasy, I believe. 3 touchdowns already this year.
I traded a kicker for him yesterday.
Which is ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about that. That's I need to get in that league if it's for money. That's what I'm telling you. But no, do you guys think Mike Wallace can keep doing this going forward? I mean,
No,
No?
I don't think he can. He's a streaky receiver. He is the NFL's equivalent of J.R. Smith. Like, he's not going to be that. You're not going to be able to rely on him. He's not going to be that impact performer. Every now and then he's going to come up with a huge play deep down the field, but he cannot run routes. And that's been the problem with him his entire career. He can't run any routes. He can't run a crossing route. He can't catch the ball over the middle. He's not very good at catching the ball. His hands aren't very good. He's faster than everybody, sure. But you can't just run him on a streak all the time, right?
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I forget Steve Smith's even on the team now this year.
Yeah. Well, I think he already said this most likely.
Yeah, it'll be his last, which sucks because I really wanted to see him win a title, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's one of the guys I feel that just deserves it. 5'8" receiver, just absolutely destroying the league for 12 years?
I think he is the type of guy, though, like the stereotypical great receiver that can't win a title. It's just his personality is of that type of player.
Yeah. In this game, I've kind of caught bits and ends of the Browns, and Coleman, they're another rookie receiver in this league, has looked good. The first week he had about, I think it was 60-something yards, obviously nothing crazy, but this week 104 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I have him in my one fantasy league. He's been doing very well.
Yeah, no, he's doing well.
But
now he doesn't have a quarterback.
And Josh Gordon comes back in 2 weeks. We'll see how that all really plays out.
So do you guys know this week who is listed as the number 1 quarterback for Cleveland? Any guesses?
I mean,
Flagden.
I'd figure... sure, I'm down. I'll do it. I don't care.
Starting
Make some money.
number 1 on their depth chart right now, Cody Kessler.
Who?
Yep.
He's a rookie, isn't he? From Michigan, right?
I could find out for you. I don't know anything about the kid. He is 23 years old from... Does not tell me what college. But yeah, Cody Kessler is expected to start this week for Cleveland.
They play the Dolphins this week. It might be all right.
This could be the chance for the Dolphins defense to do something. Mario Williams?
We'll see.
Looking at you.
Cody Kessler's not Michigan. He's USC. The old USC quarterback.
Okay.
And yeah, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them drafting him. 3rd round this year.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we've talked enough about the Browns for probably a couple weeks now.
We've talked about the Browns and the Bills the most in this show. It's pretty rattling to me, to be honest.
Giants Saints in a rematch from the highest scoring game I have ever seen.
To one of the
NFL
trashiest games of the week.
into a pretty awful game. Not much to say about it. 16-13. Manning threw for a lot of yards.
But
Rookie
no
Sterling
touchdowns.
Shepard looked pretty good.
I was going to say it was a pass-heavy game. Not much.
Let's talk about these Giants running backs, though. Vereen, 3-yard average. Jennings, 2.1 average.
But Vereen's a 3rd down back. Like,
I know, but he also had 14 carries.
I know he had. That's what I'm saying though. He had too many carries. That's not who Shane Vereen is. Shane Vereen is a receiving back. He should play as much at receiver as he does at running back.
And Victor Cruz had another good week. Going forward, another question. You rely on Cruz or no?
I don't see why not. The only reason he hasn't been reliable the last few years is because
injuries.
he was hurt, right?
Yeah,
when he was in the league playing every week, he was a fairly reliable
And I was
target.
going to say, you can't take anything away from the guy when healthy, obviously. Very good.
I know, but do you rely on him staying healthy?
You ride it out as long as you can. That's all you could really do.
Because I had him as my fantasy shocker of the year last year. I figured with ODB there,
Yeah.
all the attention would be on him. It would just open him up for yards, catch, touchdown. And then obviously he was injured the whole year with that leg or hamstring issue.
Another quick fantasy steal from New Orleans, Willie Snead. Has done very well this season as well.
Can you really say a receiver on the Saints is a steal?
Yeah, well,
I mean, you should just know he's a receiver on the Saints. Pick him up. Breeze is going to throw for 5,000 yards. He's got to get some of them. Niners, Panthers. Panthers destroying the Niners this week, as we all expected.
Yeah, they did what they said we'd do.
Yeah.
Not
really much to say here. Blaine Gabbert, he played football again.
Only other
Cam
thing,
Newton, 4 TDs, 353.
only other thing, Jonathan Stewart
Against the Niners.
Jonathan Stewart now injured.
I would be embarrassed if I was the Panthers giving up 27 points to the Niners.
Whitaker had an all right game, though, with...
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, now it's going to come down to Fozzie Whitaker if he could help them out.
Fozzie?
And like I mentioned earlier, Benjamin, 7 receptions, 108 yards, 2 TDs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's looking like he did not miss a whole year.
Nope.
He almost looks better than he did.
Well, I said that after the first game. Yeah, he looks awesome. Like, I have absolutely zero complaints with the way he's been playing.
Cowboys and those guys from Washington.
My boys. Dak, love this guy.
He impresses me every week with his mechanics.
Like you said,
and
this could have been the best thing to happen to Dallas.
You know who
And I'm
didn't?
sticking with it.
You know who didn't impress me this week? Elliott. The fumbles. The lack of being able to control the football. Making cuts too soon is a big thing that I've seen with him. He's trying too much to do something fancy when he can just run the ball straight ahead and pick up some yards.
And I feel a lot of that's falling on him making that call out, saying he's going to break the touchdown record, say he's going to beat the rushing record. I think it's all kind of slowly getting to his head.
I think a lot of it, too, is him concerned that he could be losing the starting job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big thing.
Alfred
when
Morris
you've got
and
a rookie running back trying to be your workhorse back, but you've got guys of that quality behind him ready to step up, and they're veterans. They know how to play in this league.
Yeah.
They can step up and take that job, especially if Elliott continues to fumble.
Yeah, no, you banged it right on the head there. I mean, Alfred Morris didn't have a crazy game, but he did get a touchdown, goal line, but he had 5 carries for 7 yards. So he's not bringing it to his neck yet to steal the job,
But if Elliott has
another 2 fumbles,
80 yards on 15 carries, that's great. But if he fumbles the ball twice,
yeah, then you're going to go with Morris, of course.
It's the quickest way to lose a game is by fumbling the football.
And we'll see. McFadden hasn't even been back, so we need to see how the 3-headed monster runs. We've only dealt with 2 of the 3 so far.
How about Cousins he threw for 364 yards, but he did not pass the eye test this game. He was throwing people short a lot. He was throwing away a lot. Like, he was making it hard for his receivers to make plays in this game.
Yeah, Cousins is one of those guys. I mean, he's kind of a guy in fantasy you pick up if
You like that?
no one else is there, sort of thing.
Fantasy numbers-wise, he was great. Super helpful in fantasy. However, helpful to the Redskins?
No.
But how much is that really to their whole team?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's Washington.
I don't know, though. Look at the receivers they got on that team. They got Deshaun Jackson. They got Doctson they drafted this year.
But
They've
defense,
got
besides
Garcon.
Norman?
Who is...
Besides Norman,
Yeah.
Tell me about their defense.
Their defense though shouldn't affect Cousins not throwing the ball well.
Fair.
That's the thing, right? If he could have connected on some of those passes that were wide open, like, let's be real, a few of those passes to Garcon on the left side, wide open, could have made the play, could have had 30, 40-yard gains down the field. They probably would have won that game if he'd have been able to complete those passes. I don't know what it is, but I think mentality-wise, he's not in it. And I think it's a lot to do with him turning down that contract at the beginning of this season and trying to prove that he's worth more and just trying too hard and not being able to do it. And just that mental aspect getting to him.
Trying to do a little too much.
I mean, we are talking about a guy who was a backup quarterback a year ago,
like that.
right? Like,
We'll see. I mean,
how about...
they're 0-2 in an absolute trash division that they could still come back and win.
True. How about Norman not shadowing Dez?
I don't get how
Isn't that why they brought him there?
Yeah, when you're going to pull a receiver switch and drag Dez to the other side, why aren't you running Norman over that other side?
Exactly.
It makes no sense, especially when I think last year Dez was 1 for 12 against Norman, I believe. Don't quote me on the numbers. Somewhere around there, though. He was caught 1 pass out of 12 attempts to him with Norman on him.
The thing, too, is Norman covered him very well. He didn't
the whole
make a
game.
reception on Norman.
No.
but they still weren't doing it. And I don't get why you brought him in for all that money if you were just going to have him play
Cover him
one side
half
of
the
the field.
plays and then, yeah, exactly.
Like, not everyone's Richard Sherman. You can't have him just on one side of the field the whole time and impact the game. You got to move him over onto the best player, the best receiver.
And now they're saying for this upcoming game this week that they're putting him on OBJ or shadowing him the whole game. They're going to have Norman OBJ go out of
And
the
see,
game.
that worries me too, because now you're changing your game plan based on what media and fans are saying. So at the same time as I don't get why they didn't do it, I also don't get how all of a sudden it was a bad idea last week, but a good idea this week.
Do you feel Norman may have asked for that, though, with the kind of beef, I guess, him and
With
ODB
him and,
had last year?
Yeah, with him and Beckham, yeah.
Because, I mean, they had some pretty intense moments in those Carolina Giants game last year. If you guys listening remember, they had some heated moments, most definitely.
Yeah,
I think maybe he asked for that. He was like, you know what, we lost. It wasn't really because he wasn't covering Dez, but they lost the game regardless. They're 0-2 going in. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's like, you know what, give me him. I want ODB. That's why you guys signed me. I want these divisional guys.
I can see that. Buccaneers Cardinals, don't need to spend much time here. Cardinals destroyed the Buccaneers 40-7. It was all the second quarter.
The Cardinals
nothing at the end of the first quarter. 24-0 at the end.
Cardinals
of the
we expected to see.
Yeah.
This is the Cardinals we should have seen week one.
Exactly.
Marcus Cooper, I complained last week so much about the defensive backs on the left side of the field. Started Marcus Cooper this week. He was fantastic. 2 interceptions, a touchdown, 7 tackles. Was great on the left side. And if we started him week one, we probably would have beat New England. Mm-hmm. So I like that change, and I like what's going on over there, and the way that Arians, again, week in, week out, always surprises me how well and how quickly he can adapt to things in the NFL.
Bigger shock for you this week, Chargers beating the Jags or the Falcons beating the Raiders?
Falcons beating the Raiders.
Yeah.
Biggest shock for me is the Seahawks only putting up 3 points.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Russell Wilson not throwing for a touchdown.
I was going to say, do you think Russell Wilson played hurt?
Yep.
Well, yeah, he was. He was hurt going in.
Which I said going into that week, they should have just sat him.
Yeah. Give someone else.
Save it.
I mean,
divisionals, they usually lose against the Rams anyway.
We know the Rams always play tough against divisional matchups, but 3 points?
By the way, I picked the Rams last week, if anyone was wondering.
Come on, guys. 3 points. That's all you can muster against the Rams.
Yep.
I don't get it. I don't know what happened.
Well, see, I mean, Seattle started slow last year, too. We never know how much maybe is that impact of Marshawn Lynch not being in the room. I know he's not a guy that talks to media.
I was going to say.
But we're never in the locker room. Who knows what he says and amps up the team back there. I mean, the media would lip Marshawn off all the time for not talking to media. Who were the first people to stand up for him? His teammates, his coach, all the time. Maybe they're really missing that presence in the room, though.
Marshawn, can you give us a speech before the game?
Yeah.
I'm thankful. They're like, yeah, they're all pumped up.
But I mean, coming from that guy, you know, it adds something to it. A guy that's been there,
no, absolutely.
won the title with him, should have won the second title with him, but they chose for whatever reason to not give him the ball.
The winning touchdown should have been
should
him,
be an MVP of the finals.
Yep.
But we ain't going to talk about that. It happened a year ago.
Exactly.
But I mean, they could be missing him in that locker room.
Oh, I think
possible.
We don't know what kind of character he is back there. We've only seen him in the media where he hates us. Mm-hmm. He could easily be a completely different person behind doors. I mean, I've seen him on Conan O'Brien's show. He opens up.
Gronk, yeah.
I mean, you never know.
No, and that's like even his time in Buffalo. I remember a lot of the reporters from there saying he's not a bad guy. Like they said, he's to himself with the media because, and he has always said it, I'm paid to play football. And he understands that, you're supposed to do the media things, but he just doesn't want it.
He's one of the guys that's from a terrible neighborhood and is super thankful that he's making all this money and doesn't want all that extra BS. He's there to play football, make his money, and do what he's got to do.
Absolutely. And like I said, they always used to say that in Buffalo. Like the guys were like, he wasn't the best for interviews, but you could see in the locker room, he was always with his teammates. He wasn't a guy who would cause anything. And
I think that might be hurting them right now.
No, for sure. And I think, and like you said, his teammates always defended him because they all liked him.
And I still think their trade last year was trash. I think they were better going forward with that center. I can't think of his name off the top than Jimmy Graham right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And now look at Graham.
Nothing. Yeah.
Moving on, Jags Chargers 38-14.
Like we said,
surprising victory. Us. Chargers, I keep saying worst team in the league talent wise. They keep playing
Their
pretty
offense
well.
is great. I'm not gonna lie.
Their
Phillip
offense
Rivers,
their
yeah.
offense isn't great. Phillip Rivers is great.
Okay, fair.
And I think, but that's year in and year out what we always say about the Chargers. Phillip Rivers is great. The rest of the team, not there.
But maybe we just slept on Melvin Gordon last year. He had a garbage first year, but he's been stepping up this
Yep.
year.
And now it's his big chance with Danny Woodhead.
Exactly, and he's going to continue to shine. Same with Travis Benjamin. I've mentioned this last week. If you don't have Travis Benjamin in fantasy and he's available,
Go get him.
you're stupid. Pick him up.
Falcons Raiders, again, another surprise. Falcons pulling it out against the Raiders.
Raiders defense, what do you think?
Matt Ryan played
I thought it was
well.
the best thing going for them coming into this year.
It's been the
offense that looked better than the defense.
Yep.
What can
I
you
don't know if I say best. I think I thought coming into the
maybe
year they were
about
both
even then?
about equal.
Okay.
Yeah. But
the-
yeah, it's
the
surprising how
offense has
poorly
shined.
they've played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack, where are you at? That's all I got to say.
Well, then that's all we'll say. Broncos, Colts.
Mm.
34-20 Broncos. We all had an inkling that the Broncos would win this one and pull it out. Simeon doing what he had to do again and again. We're going to say the same thing probably all year this year as we said all year last year.
we did
Peyton
with
Manning
Peyton,
numbers,
yeah.
baby. Peyton Manning
all
numbers.
year last year we said solid defense. They won the game because they didn't lose the game on offense. And that's going to be the way it is.
Only thing with this game is Ware is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, I believe.
And as well, Moncrief 4 to 6.
Yeah, for
Just
Indy,
got announced today.
for Indy.
But shout out to Anderson, one of the better running backs in the league right now.
Oh yeah,
I
CJ,
think.
absolutely.
He's been a workhorse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Point blank period.
Packers, Vikings. Stephon Diggs killed it.
Yeah, we talked. The Vikings. Defense, baby.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships.
And Eagles, Bears.
Carson Wentz.
Monday night.
Good
Carson
talk.
Wentz. And Cutler out day to day with the thumb. He'll probably miss this week.
2 to
though.
3 weeks.
Oh, 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot I can say about this game. It was, the Eagles scored 29 points, but nobody played a particularly great game.
I think the big thing that Carson Wentz is getting a lot of credit for is 0
No turnovers.
interceptions. Yeah.
Yeah, his poise.
Yeah, very
And
poised.
we're getting that from all the rookies this year.
Yeah.
They're all showing pretty good poise. Being
It's almost
able
the
to play
same
in
thing we
league.
saw last year. Seems like since we started this, the rookie QBs are kind of.
I feel like a lot of that has to do with
Young
a
man's
lot of the
podcast, young man's
colleges
game.
switching to pro style systems and that. So they're
it's
coming
better
in
to-
here
They're
more
actually
ready,
ready
to play.
Yeah.
in
They're
the
not
NFL.
looking like Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Boom.
They're coming in
Yikes.
more ready to
A
play in
tight
the
end?
NFL than they have been in years past. Whereas,
Baseball player.
Yeah.
you know, they can take the snaps under center as well as in the shotgun and that. Whereas in college, you're like, oh, we're taking it from the pistol all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody runs the pistol in the NFL unless you're running Wildcat. You're not running the pistol. If it's an option, sure. Otherwise, no. Like Carolina runs the pistol. That's about it.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
And that's
So-
it. And you expect that with Canada.
Yeah. So it's been a lot better since they've all been starting to switch to that style.
Yep.
Coming up this week,
Thursday night,
Houston, New England.
Houston
Houston.
crushes them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Houston.
I don't know
as well.
about crushes, but I think they do.
That rookie's not ready for JJ Watt. JJ Watt shows up this week, 3 sacks.
Boom.
We see Edelman at quarterback.
I agree.
I hope
Fourth
so.
quarter. 100%.
I would love it. I would love it.
Third or fourth quarter.
I'd love to see it too.
Yeah, so we're all going Texans there.
Oh, yeah.
Arizona, Buffalo, Cardinals.
Cardinals, stop this.
No, Arizona. I know it's Arizona. No
You're
question. No question.
Oakland, Tennessee.
Low key game of the week for me.
Arizona, Buffalo,
No.
or Oakland, Tennessee.
Oakland, Tennessee. I think this is going to be a dogfight. I got the Raiders barely taking this last minute field goal, maybe a touchdown from Carr last drive of the game.
Raiders by 3.
I think the Raiders have a huge comeback game because they always did last year. Every time they'd lose a game, they'd come back, surprise everybody, and destroy the next team. I think they can put up 40 points this week against Tennessee.
Okay.
So
I think
Oakland
Khalil
comes
Mack
back and
shows up
destroys them.
this week too.
Have to.
Detroit, Green Bay, divisional game.
Green Bay.
Green Bay, what is
Green Bay.
Detroit going to do? Too many injuries, and they've got
They
Stafford
have
at
no
quarterback.
running game. Yeah.
and it's in Green Bay. So
Yeah. Green Bay.
Washington, New York Giants.
I actually have Washington. I
Me
think
too.
Cousins plays like he did last week, but he throws some touchdowns.
I think the
I-
Redskins too because the Giants are just too bad defensively, and they have so many options at wide receiver.
Yeah,
And Giants winning 3 games in a row this year? Not happening.
I have Washington as well.
Washington just shows so many weapons for Cousins on offense, and I don't think the Giants can even come close to covering them.
Redskins?
Minnesota, Carolina.
Wow. 9-6 Carolina.
Ooh.
9-6.
I'm going to go Carolina as well.
I'm going to go Carolina
In a dogfight.
21-14.
So
In a
far, we
dogfight.
all have the same picks this week.
I agree.
Denver,
It's crazy.
Cincinnati.
Now,
Cincinnati
this is where
with
it
the
gets
upset.
real.
They're
It's a
at
tough
home.
one.
Regular season. The rookie QB's got to lose one eventually. This is the day.
If the thing is, Dalton might not play.
Cincy.
Dalton might not play.
Ooh.
But even with McCarron, it's not really that much of a step below Dalton.
Yeah,
I'm sticking Bengals. Upset of the week.
I'm going to say Bengals too.
If it's considered an upset because they're at home.
I'm going to go Denver.
Oh, we got
I'll go
one
Denver
different
for this
time.
one. Yeah, well, that's first different.
Breaking the streak.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Cleveland, Miami.
Game of the week, by the way.
Cleveland, Miami?
Why not? I have... Wow.
Miami. Kessler is not going to do anything.
The
I'm going
fans
Miami.
lose 3-0. No, I got Miami. They're at home.
Miami, I think Clipboard Jesus comes in, though, and leads one scoring drive at the end of the game. And then we have questions on whether he starts next week, so the Browns will start 5 quarterbacks in one season.
Already.
In 4 weeks.
Week 3, yeah.
Wow.
Baltimore, Jacksonville.
Jags bounce back. Take
This-
the win.
I think this could be the game of the week.
Where's
but
the
yeah,
game?
Jags.
Where's the
in
game?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Okay, Jacksonville then.
Come on, Proto. Home team's always second.
Yeah, sorry.
Always.
LA, Tampa.
Tampa.
But, however, Gurley goes for over 100 yards this week.
I'm going to say Rams. I'm going to say Rams take this one.
I just feel they're going to be deflated after that tough game with Seattle, 9-3.
Yeah.
I don't think that defense gets deflated.
Fair.
You know what? No, I'm kidding.
Tom Brady's balls.
Well, with Giselle Bundchen, wouldn't you?
Boom.
San Francisco, Seattle.
Seattle.
Jets, Chiefs.
Jets. That front seven gets another 3 to 5 sacks this week.
Yeah, I'll go Jets this one.
Oh,
I really
that's a
want to
tough
pick.
That's our toughest game to pick.
I
of the
really
week,
want to
by far.
pick the Chiefs, but I'm going to go Jets.
Toughest game to pick this week, I think.
I'll go Jets too. It's tough. San Diego, Indy. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one too. I'm gonna go Colts for the sole fact that they're 0-2 right now.
I was going to say they need to win.
But-
They're going to play desperate.
Look for this to be a shootout again.
I'm going to say San Diego wins this one.
I'm going to go Colts, as tough as that is
I
without
low-key
Dante.
think San Diego is gonna win.
Yeah,
to be honest,
that's the
But
thing.
I'm
It is
just
a
gonna
winnable
ride
game.
Andrew Luck. He's got to step up, man.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck or Phillip Rivers, though?
Phillip Rivers all day, but T.Y. Hilton and
Moncrief.
Gore over actually. Wow. To be honest, Gordon Benjamin sounds better than T.Y.
You know
Hilton
what?
and
Yeah.
Gore right now.
Let's go Chargers. I'm taking
No,
Chargers.
I'm going to stick Colts.
I'll take Chargers in this one.
Steelers, Eagles.
Steelers.
Oh,
Whoop them.
yeah.
I'm going upset. I'm saying Eagles. I'm saying Carson Wentz pulls
Wentz-
this one out.
2
I think-
interceptions this
I was
week.
going to say he's throwing his first interception.
2 interceptions
I'm going
this week.
Steelers.
I think the Eagles pull it out. Upset.
That's a
my
nice-
my upset of the week.
That's a nice game, though.
Bears, Cowboys.
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 Keep rolling. Terrible Sunday nighter, though.
Yeah. Terrible Monday nighter too. Atlanta, New Orleans.
It'll be fun, though.
It'll be a lot of
It'll be a
offense.
scoring
But
game.
we said that last week with the Giants
Fair,
and the Saints
fair.
too.
And it was trash. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, wow. I'm going to go Saints. Breeze starting 0-3. I just can't see it right now.
Oh, boy. That I don't know.
I see the Drew Brees from week 1 showing up, not the Drew Brees from week 2.
I'm going Saints too because they're at home on Monday night and Breeze always shines.
Yeah,
in
Saints at
the
home on a
spotlight.
Monday. Drew Brees.
All right. So those are our picks for next week. Moving on to a segment that we started this season fresh. It's I will name something relevant to the week. You guys give me one word to describe that. Kicking it off, Antonio Brown's dance moves.
Fire.
Nicki Minaj-esque.
Wow.
Carson Wentz.
Surprising.
Professor.
I like that.
I'm going to say poised. Bradford.
Impressive.
Surprising again, to be honest.
Bradford.
Well done.
Tebow time in baseball.
Home
Trash.
run.
Trash.
I love how everyone made such a big deal about him hitting a BP home run. Like,
Trash.
so what?
Put
It's
me
batting
out there. I'm going to hit
practice.
that. Stop.
Yeah, he hit a home run. It's like, so did Sidney Crosby, but okay.
Running backs this week.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Unfortunate.
I don't even have anything for that.
Andy Dalton.
Regular season.
Damn it, that was mine.
He's still stuck to that.
Yeah, I was going to go with regular season.
Zeke fumbles.
That's my answer, by the way.
Trust. Still got Jerry Jones. Love him.
Josh Norman and the Redskins.
Needs to step up.
Yeah. Bring out the baseball bat like he did last year.
All right. Well, that's fair, I suppose. A counterpoint to our doghouse picks that we did all year last year, our impact performers of the week. Christian.
Wow, this week, that's a tough one, to be honest.
I have a feeling we might all have the same person.
No, you won't, because I'm going to go Minnesota defense, holding that Packers team to 14 points. I like them going forward, and they're getting me fantasy points, so I can't hate on it.
Proto.
Well, I know who Jeff has, so I'll go differently. I'm going to go Philip Rivers this week.
That's fair. Yeah, mine's Stephon Diggs. 182 yards, 1 touchdown,
Obviously,
22 years old. Absolutely destroyed one of the best teams in the NFC this week. So I don't see how we couldn't give it to him.
I love it.
Doghouse this week.
Wow. That's actually a tough one this week. I'm trying to think on it
Yeah,
who really
like-
stood out. No one really stood out to me this week where I'm like, you know what? You're going in the doghouse. So I'm going to go the Bills for firing the offensive coordinator.
Bills in twice already.
I was going to say they're already in, so I don't even know.
No, I'm going to go Bills for firing the offensive coordinator.
I'll go Rex Ryan again for saying his brother is as good a coach as anyone in the league, you idiot. Like,
I'm going the Seattle Seahawks offense. 3
I like
points
that. I
against
like that.
LA.
that's good.
Yeah.
Still sounds weird to me when you say LA.
Yeah, I know. It
in
feels
my head,
weird.
For a
It
minute, I was
feels
like,
weird.
who is this guy talking
In
about?
my head, I think of the LA Kings. And
I think of the
hockey, and I'm
Lakers.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it feels.
Or the
feels
Clippers.
No Clippers.
It feels weird to say. I think of the Raiders before I think of the Rams.
LA
when
Raiders,
I say
yeah.
LA. Fantasy this week. Who are you guys starting?
Melvin Gordon for one.
Obviously, yeah.
Woodhead's out, and they're playing Indy. I
Okay.
looked for them to maybe have a nice little lead. And Melvin Gordon looked all right doing some receiving plays last week. They always counted, Danny Woodhead's the receiving back, but Melvin Gordon showed he could maybe step up to be that.
I will
Who's your
say start Miami's defense against Cleveland, obviously with Kessler at quarterback. I think that's going to be easy for Miami. And my sit of the week will be Carlos Hyde from the 49ers against Seattle.
My start, James White, the Pats running back. I think he's going to get a fair amount of carries now with their quarterbacking situation, and he's always the receiving back. So if you're PPR, for sure, James White. I picked him up this week. Think he's going to have a great week. Christian, sit.
Sit. Tough. I'm going to go Zeke.
Ooh,
The fumbles. I
That's
think
a
he
good
might do
sit.
it again this week, to be honest.
it's a solid sit.
Yeah. I had said mine already.
I'm going Sammy Watkins. Playing with an ankle injury, lining
Yeah.
up against Patrick Peterson.
Sit them all season.
Yeah,
That's
good luck.
It's a tough
Sit 'em all.
matchup to begin with. Never mind playing with injury.
Absolutely.
Surprises this week in fantasy.
Surprises this week?
Mine will be Melvin Gordon. I know you had him as your start. He'll be my surprise this week.
Mine will be T.Y. Hilton to step up in the absence of Moncrief.
Okay.
Because he hasn't showed up at all. I know people are like, "Whoa, that's a number one receiver.
yeah.
He should show up." But where's T.Y. been week 1 and 2?
For sure.
Yeah. Mine's Chargers wide receiver Tyrell Williams. 5 receptions, 132 yards so far this season.
I really like
Keenan
that
Allen
kid.
out. I think he's going to have to step it up.
Him and
I think
Benjamin.
He will. And I think he will. I mean, with Rivers throwing him the ball, how can you not? And going against Indianapolis' defense, I think he takes it
Easy
easy.
points.
Exactly. Now, my favorite segment every week, the segment where I get to see whether these guys are as good with their football knowledge as I am.
Who's up 2-0?
I will ask them, and Christian, yes, is up 2-0. Last year's winner as well, defending champ.
Hey.
I will ask them an impossible question that there's no way they could have the exact answer to, although this week, not as hard as in weeks past. If they get it right on, 2 points. If they don't, the closest one, 1 point. This week's question. With Russell Wilson's terrible performance against the Rams and not throwing a touchdown this week, the new active leader in consecutive games with a TD pass is Blaine Gabbert. How many consecutive games has Blaine Gabbert thrown a touchdown in?
I answered first last week.
Yep, Proto, you're up.
How many consecutive games?
Yeah.
Blaine
Has he
Gabbert
TD
thrown a
in?
touchdown in.
4.
That was my answer, so I'm going to go 5.
Well, Christian wins, but it's a sloppy win. The answer is 12. 12 consecutive games with a touchdown.
Let's go. 3-0, baby. I almost won the season already. Let's go.
All right, well, that has been 4th and Goal for this week. For Christian Smith and Andrew Proto-Reese, I am Jeff Blagden saying until next week, when it comes to the 4th and Goal podcast, always go for it.
Thank you for listening to Break the Cast.